What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Junior and the Big Dog, your favorite father and son duo covering Miami Hurricanes football and sports. How are you guys doing this evening? What's up, Big Dog?
What do you say, guys? Got some guys here on early. Baby Shack 247 Canes.
247, man. Where you been?
It has been a while. He said it's been a while.
Yeah.
And
Orange and green blood.
Orange and green blood. Cohen, it's all about you, Cohen.
Nice and early.
RN's with us.
What's up, RN? What's going on, man?
No, just thank you guys for joining us this Wednesday evening. And as always, if you guys are new, Ben, what do you say, Ben? If you guys are new, please, everybody, please hit the like button because it does help us. And if you're new, please subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and hit all so you can receive any and all videos when we release them. And we do have to catch up. I got to catch up on comments. What do you say, DeMonte, Taz? I got to catch up on comments. I got to catch up on the research. We got to catch up on the videos that we have outstanding. But with all the crap going on in the world, we haven't been on top of that as much as we should. I haven't even caught up with the comments. And I usually stay on the comments where we respond 100% of the time. And I will get to that. I'm going to get to that between tomorrow and Friday. I got to catch up with all the previous comments and stuff.
Yeah, we got some comments about people giving us a lot of position groups that we talked about when we talked about like an all decades team. We had people give their own takes on it and whatnot. So we got to respond to some of those comments, man. But HJS Canes, man, is joining us with his baby girl Zoe, joining her first of many shows with you guys. That's what's up, HJS, man.
What do you say, Zoe? Well, she's like newborn, isn't she? She's just a few weeks old.
Yeah. So Zoe, hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to throw up the U for Zoe the way we do for Cohen and Orange and Green Blood.
Oh, I think I lost you guys.
Did I get lost?
Was that me or was that you?
I don't know, but we're here. What's going on, George?
You know what? Let me make sure because they were working on our Spectrum was out here yesterday.
Yeah, it's the Ohio internet.
Yeah, but let me make sure, and I could actually use my phone as a hotspot.
I'll say, I'm
going to do that right now.
Austin Canes, man, he says, I know you guys are pretty spiritual. My father has to be tested today, waiting on results. We could use the good thoughts. Austin, man, our prayers go out to your father, man. Hopefully that comes back negative and he gets better soon, man. So definitely chat, man. If you guys are believers, whatever God you believe in, make sure to send your thoughts and prayers to Austin Canes, his dad. So hopefully you get out of that, man. Hopefully that comes back negative, Austin, man. That really that's a bummer, and that sucks to hear. But God willing, man, it'll come back negative, and everything will be okay, brother. So just hang in there.
There we go. Am I with you now?
Yeah, I guess, Big Dog. I don't know.
Okay, because I think you guys I might have lost it there. I'm sorry. Someone's father was getting tested.
Yeah, Austin Canes, man, his dad.
Austin. All right, Austin. We'll be praying for your dad, Austin, and keep the faith, man. I mean, I know that when you hear all these numbers, it's scary, but a vast majority of the people, come through this okay, and let's hope and pray that your dad doesn't have it, and if he does, that he'll come through with flying colors, and we'll continue praying. And you got a lot of. I'm a big believer in prayer, man. You're gonna have a lot of Canes fam sending good prayers your way. So God bless, and please keep us apprised and let us know what's going on with your dad.
What's going on, Tony Kidd? He said, "What's up, Canes fan? Checking in from the ATL. Hope prayerfully everyone is safe." Yeah, man.
Yeah. How, what do you say, Dallas, George? Sean Taylor. I know I missed a whole bunch of people when I was.
What's the topic for today? Hey, we're just keeping it open, man. Whatever you guys want to talk about. I put that we're gonna take calls today, man. So I'll leave that up to you guys. Because I know last week we had a couple guys that wanted to call in. So I'm leaving that option open. If anybody does want to go ahead and call in, we'll go ahead and open up the phone lines and let whoever wants to call in to go ahead and do so. So, but I'll leave that up to you guys. If you guys just want to chop it up in the chat, we could chop it up in the chat. But if somebody does want to call, please let me know in the chat, and then I'll go ahead and open up the phone lines to get you in on the Junior and the Big Dog hotline.
Now I know George was trolling, but he said that a good topic would be about how Florida beat Miami down last year. We had 14 penalties, 10 sacks, and almost beat them, and they beat us by 4.
Yeah. 247 Canes. I actually have a bet going on.
What's that?
Because things are getting spicy. I think the Dolphins are getting love because they saw him 3 times. Things have been getting spicy and very animated in some of the chats that I'm in with my friends about the Dolphins' plans at number 5. So I'm like, I think there's like 10 people in the chat, and almost everybody on the chat is on the Tua train. And I'm not saying that I'm not on the Tua train. I have my reservations about Tua, and I think that the better pick at 5, considering Tua's injury history, is Justin Herbert. So I got a bet going on that the Dolphins are going to go ahead and take Herbert at 5. Obviously, if they don't take, I think they have to go quarterback, because I'm hearing rumblings about, they might not even go quarterback, or they might trade back because they might because they like Jordan Love or whatever, so they might trade back. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think if they do remain with that 5th overall pick, I think they are definitely going quarterback. I think you have to go quarterback. You need to give this fan base something to look forward to. You've been making good off-season moves.
Well,
you've been stocking up a lot of draft capital. Now,
but it's not just something to look forward to. It's the reality is, if you have a very good quarterback, you're going to be in the hunt more often than not, year in and year out. That's the reality of football. And what bothers me to an extent is that people are making it like it's the reality of football today. That was the reality of football 50 years ago. Okay? Look in the history of the league. I can name, I mean, you know me, I can go back and go all the way to the 30s. The NFL championship game started in 1933, and I can almost name you year by year every single game. I can definitely name every Super Bowl. But if you look at every champion, every world champion, okay, what did they usually have in common? A great quarterback. Now, people point to exceptions to the rule. Oh, Trent Dilfer with the 2000 Ravens. Oh, Jim McMahon, who actually was a pretty decent quarterback, but with the 85 Bears. Or they want us to go back to whoever, Mark Rippon. But Mark Rippon, that 1 year that he had, he was the MVP.
But those are outliers, big dog. Like that's my point.
Not only are those outliers, even in that case, he was a great player for that 1 year.
Yeah, but
so the thing is, this idea that the NFL has become a quarterback-friendly league, it's always been a quarterback-friendly league. It's one of the reasons why people overdraft quarterbacks.
What's up, Brett?
Because if you have a good quarterback, you're going to win games. Yeah. I saw a really good question. I think HJS said that maybe we could talk about Brett's there, Hurricane Millie, all you guys, John Shields, Brett Varner, Sigmund. Much love to all you guys. The reality is, if you have a franchise level quarterback, you're going to be in the hunt more often than not.
Yeah,
simple as that. And the problem is, listen, if we end up taking Tua at 5, is it the equivalent of Deion Jordan pick? No, I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying that I'm going to throw my hat at the TV if we pick Tua at 5. Okay? We could do a lot worse. All right? But I do want Herbert. I think if we pass on Herbert, we're going to regret it. Now, again, and this is not going to hindsight's always 2020. Junior can tell you, when we traded up that year, I thought we were trading up to pick Lane Johnson at offensive tackle. And we traded up to pick Deion Jordan. So it wasn't like because Jordan Jr. could tell you how angry was I when they said Deion Jordan.
Oh yeah, no, neither one of us understood it.
Yeah, I was because first off, they might have gotten Deion Jordan if they would have stayed where they were at.
Right.
But they trade up to get a guy that they probably could have drafted at. I think we were drafting 13 that year. Okay, so I thought we were moving up to trade Lane Johnson because that was the year you had 3 monster offensive tackles that were,
If I'm not mistaken, I think we were in the top 10, but we were like 8th or 9th, I believe.
I thought we were lower, but anyways, but we traded up
because I knew we did. Because in order to move up because we got Deion, what it was like the 4th overall pick.
I believe it was either 3 or 4.
Right. So yeah. To go. I do remember we didn't give up the house because think about it. To go from 13,
we gave up quite a bit.
No, we did, but I mean, I think we were in the top 10 because to go from 13 to 4, you pretty much got to give up the house to get into the top 5. So I don't think it was. I would have to look it up, but regardless, it was a ridiculous move by the Dolphins, and
it was,
and of course, it didn't pan out.
And that was the year that you had I think it was what I want to say Matthews, Fisher, and Johnson were all available at tackle. You remember that was the year of we had awesome offensive tackles coming into the league, and exactly, Brett. I mean, how do you trade up to get a guy who chances are you could have been able to get if you would have stayed put? Secondly, he had athletic ability, but sketchy production. Okay, so now you're going to move up because ideally a top 5 pick, you want both. You want a guy who has that type of ability and that type of production. You don't want a project. You could take a project at 16. You could take a project at 22. You don't take a project top 5. Top 5, you want both. You want all-star, superstar level talent and that type of consistent production.
Right.
Okay. So we have this opportunity in front of us. We move up. I say, awesome. We're going to go get our tackle. And then we draft Deion Jordan. And I was like, oh man. And sure enough, it blew up in our face.
But the front office has been making good moves as of late.
So far than you guys doing it. So we'll see.
And we have a head coach because I really like Flores. So
yes, we do.
What's up, Willis?
We definitely got a keeper. What do you say, Willis?
Big Will.
He was a 3rd pick, Brett. Thank you.
3rd pick, but I think we were the top 10 though.
I thought for some reason that sticks in my mind. I thought we were 13th. That we were picking 13th, but you might be right. It might have been we picked sooner than that. But
Anthony Morales would have don't know.
Thank you, Anthony.
And then I'm gonna get to HJS's question. He said, "What's up, Junior the Big Dog? It's always a pleasure listening and chatting with you guys. Stay safe. Go Canes and Fins. You already know, baby. Fins up. That's all about the year."
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for the donations, part. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Appreciate that, man. So HJS had a good question.
And Lotso had a comment too about the problem is finding that franchise QB.
Oh yeah, for everybody.
You're right, Lotso. Ever since 13 retired, we've been looking for that guy.
Yeah, he HJS was asking about Fauci, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
I thought that was a great question.
Yeah, he's hopeful that we could maybe start to see sports in the summer with no fans.
With no fans.
Maybe. What do you think? You think the season starts on time? Or
I do. Here's the problem.
And if you do see it starting on time, do you see it being with no fans?
Yeah, I do. I see it being with no fans. At
least very minimal. Like, but the problem is, how do you like? Are you just gonna
sell 20,000 tickets only? I mean, you could do that.
You could spread out season ticket holders. Maybe across because they're the ones that deserve priority over the other fans. Let's be real.
You could do that. It's just, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing that I was reading today. Australia right now is in their fall of the time of the year. Okay. So for Australia, this is their fall. So our spring is their fall. They're having a bounce back in cases in Australia.
Yeah.
They're having a bit of a second wave.
Right. So we're going to have that second wave regardless. Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter what we do,
it
though.
looks like we could very well have that second wave in the fall.
Right.
So I think that the only way, I mean, he also, Dr. Fauci, I mean, he means really well, but you know, he's a doctor. He's a guy who spent a lot of his life inside of a lab. You know,
Right.
he's not he's not he's not Roger Goodell. You know, he doesn't really have a firm grasp, because he was saying that we could keep all our sports, but you would have to keep the players isolated from the community, in living in, all of them living inside hotels,
Right.
and that they had little contact with the outside public, and that the stadiums, there would be no fans. And oh, thank you, Taz, so much. Taz with a
Oh
donation.
wow. Taz
Thank
with
you,
the
Taz.
donation, man.
He says, love the show and all of you family. We love you right back, Taz.
Thank you so much, man.
So, and you're right, Brett. He
Wow.
does tend to overhype things. And listen, at the end of the day, he means well. He's a doctor. That's his gig. You know, his job is supposed to be to scare the hell out of us. So I
mean,
get
it's
that.
not-
But if you look at it from a logistical standpoint, is I'll give you an idea. I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, and Junior thinks I'm crazy. I love Australian rules football. This is the time of year that I follow Australian rules football. Okay. To me, it's an awesome game. It's a game that if I would have grown up in Australia, I would have probably played it just as hard and as crazy as American football. Well, Australian rules football was trying to do just that. They started their season with no fans. Okay, because Australian rules football, the season runs from March to September. Okay, because remember, that's their fall. So what they try to do is start the season with no fans and the players staying isolated from the community as large. Right? So that way, when the players played against themselves, they were also in isolation.
Mhm.
Right? Well, they played 1 week and they postponed the season until May 31st.
Right.
Because the ability to transfer the virus was still at a high level.
Mhm.
Okay. And one thing we have to, even though I'm very thankful, and I am thankful to God that it seems that the worst case scenarios that people were scared about, it seems like we dodged that bullet. Nobody's dying without medical attention. People are getting seen. Nobody's dying without a ventilator. Okay. But you can't deny that this disease is very, very contagious. It's really easy to transfer this disease from one person to the next, much more so than they say what is 3 times more contagious than the flu.
Right.
And I think it's at least that, if not more. So you wonder,
we could all have it for all we know.
Well, listen, I guarantee you a much bigger percentage of the population is infected than what's showing as confirmed.
Right.
Because what they said, I think a full third of the people have no symptoms whatsoever.
That's my point. Well, and not just that,
80%,
but
80%, and those people are not getting tested.
right.
80% are people that have symptoms that don't need medical attention.
Right.
So it's, listen, you remember, I felt that way this morning. This morning I got up. I mean, it could also be a change of seasons, but I felt like I was coming down with a cold.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of people, 80% of the people are like that. Right. You know, oh man, I don't feel good. 2-3 days.
A lot of people got like what they thought was the flu in like November and December of last year, and it could have very well have been.
I don't think November, December. I don't think that's the case. I don't think, because I don't think that's really when it was starting to break at Wuhan.
Yeah, but who knows?
So I don't think going back that far. Now, what I do think is a lot of the people that maybe have felt bad in the last month or two. Well, I don't know if you saw, it didn't get a lot of reporting because it was a relatively small study. And guys, we'll get back to football. But it was a relatively small study of 251 pregnant women. And it was perfect because it was a control group. These weren't people that were necessarily presenting symptoms. They were women who were there to deliver babies. So they did tests on all of them. And I think somewhere around 50, this is in New York, though. This is Columbia Presbyterian Hospital and another hospital, 15% of the women tested positive for coronavirus. 15%. So that's probably the percentage that we actually is out there in the general population.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, fortunately for these women, a vast majority of them either had very little symptoms, or, I mean, some of them developed symptoms afterwards, after they gave birth to the babies. But for the most part, they did well. So I think that's probably the what it's going to look like in the fall is a second wave. And I think if we are able to play a full schedule, it'll be without fans. I don't think this is going away completely until there's a vaccine.
Right.
So, and that's still 12 to 18 months away. Hopefully it'll be closer to 12 than the 18, because at least that way, maybe it spares us next spring from a third wave.
Yeah.
Because people forget that Spanish influenza that killed so many millions around the world, that started in 1918, but it went all the way to 1920.
Right.
Because it was the same thing. It was a cycle, and then
well, medicine better now, and things are better now.
No doubt.
So
no doubt.
But we'll see. I mean, I think Brett asked a question. He said, "Do you rather the season be delayed in order for the fans to be able to attend the games, or do you rather play the season on time with no fans?"
I'd rather play the season on time with no fans.
I want to see sports already, man. I don't care. I don't care if fans are there or not. I know a lot of people, have spent money already and are season ticket holders, and it's gonna suck for them. But listen, I want to see my Canes no matter what. So
yeah,
I want to no fans. Be it.
I think having fans, frankly, until we have a vaccine, I think having fans is not doable. It's not doable, because all it takes is one person. What do you say, Captain? I've seen so some of the new people you're saying hello, not the new people, the people that are just signing on with us. I think until we get a vaccine, we're going to have to change the way we live our lives.
Oh yeah.
Once we get a vaccine, then that's a game changer. Then we can go back to the old normal.
Yeah, but I still think
in the meantime, we're going to have a new normal.
I still think that things are never going to go back to normal.
I don't think people will be shaking hands the way
I think exactly. I think greetings are going to be different. I think people hopefully are going to be a lot more aware, okay, and a lot more careful when it comes to cleanliness and washing your hands. And dude, I cannot tell you how many times, all right, I've been at work and I'm in the bathroom or whatever. There's a big bathroom. I hear people come in. I hear people go to the bathroom, and I don't hear any faucets, and they just leave.
Yeah, dude. I saw a thing that they said that only 50% of the people wash their hands after going to the bathroom. I'm like, Sucio, wash your hands, damn it.
Yeah, it's disgusting, man. So hopefully, I mean, listen, anytime something good always seems to come out of the bad. So if any good could come out of this is first and foremost being more prepared for a future pandemic, because it's something that is going to happen again. Whether it be in 5 years, whether it be in 15, whether it be in 50, whether it be in 100, this is a good lesson to show that we're not, we weren't that prepared. So being better prepared, people, being a lot more aware and a lot more, more clean.
What, though? I think that, no doubt. Listen, I'm old school. So
some people ain't going to care. Some people are just whatever.
The idea of not shaking hands to me is, man, it's anathema to what I grew up with. But listen, it's the reality of it, man. It's the reality of it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That whole thing of shaking hands, man, I'd hate to lose that as part of society, because so much of our bond with each other as humans, that type of, even I was talking about it, because you see me around them, the people that I work with, every time I run into them or something, they give me a hug. and stuff like that. And because they're people that you spend every day with working together and stuff like that. And it's, man, is that going to ever go back to being what it used to be, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to, I think some things people can get over and go, they forget about it after a couple years. This, I do think it has some legs. I do think is going to change something. And it's going to make people a little bit more conscious because, and to me, it wasn't even a matter of preparedness or it wasn't even a matter of being aware. We like to think, especially living in America, we like to, getting used to the fist bump. I don't like that elbow one. That elbow one's kind of stupid. But the fist bump is fine. I can deal with the fist bump. But I think what's going on in America. Oh, thank you so much, Captain Trips.
What's up, Captain Trips? He says having no fans will really change the game in regards to gambling.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of. That's true.
Yeah.
But you know what, Captain Trips?
Home field advantage won't mean as much.
No, but I'm wondering if it'll increase gambling. I imagine it will. Why do you say that? Because a lot of people like the immersion of going to games. And if you take that immersion away from them, what's another way to get immersed in the games?
Yeah,
betting.
I guess.
A lot of people bet, like especially during football season, because they want to watch the games and they want to have a rooting interest in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think what Captain Trips is saying, like the lines are going to be hard to predict, man. Like, think about it. Lines are going to be hard to predict.
Oh, Mark Dudley with a donation. Thank you so much, Mark.
What's up, Mark?
He said, wearing masks suck. I just had to start this week at work and I'm really getting tired. Yeah. Mark, I'm not a big fan of them, man. I have a hard time wearing.
That's because you can't really find that many masks that fit your face, big though.
That's true. I got a big old giant melon. That's true. I mean, but just funny because I had no problem wearing a helmet ever, but it was the largest helmet that they had.
When the kids were in the NICU, man, how many masks did we go through breaking?
Yeah,
just trying to fit your face.
Yeah, that's true. I go when the babies were in NICU, I go and Junior would go to put the mask on me, and we just keep breaking the elastic on them because of how big my damn head is. But I mean, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird, especially football, man, because football's such an emotional game, and having that jam-packed stadium adds so much to the aura and the excitement of the game. How many times you talk about players? Players invariably when they retire, they miss. And by the way, thank you to Mark and Captain Tripp so much for the donation, guys. Thank you. They talk about, besides the camaraderie of their teammates and stuff like that, what do they miss most? Running out of that tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go into an NFL stadium or a major college stadium and look at the Canes with the smoke.
Yeah.
Running out of that smoke to a packed stadium and stuff like that. That adds to that emotion and stuff like that. HJS says I need a triple mask. I think you're right, HJS.
It's gonna be weird, man.
It's gonna be strange. It's gonna be strange.
You know what it reminds me of, and why I'm intrigued to see it. I don't know if because I'm sure you did this, a big dog, because you used to be into Madden quite a bit, but I used to sometimes just turn the fan crowd noise off in Madden, so that you would hear all the chatter like from the players and the coaches, the simulations and whatnot, and it's gonna be like that. Like you're going to hear a lot more. It's gonna be different. So a part of me kind of is intrigued to see it because I want to see what it would look like. You're gonna hear. They would have to do something. They would have to be careful with the expletives. They would have to be like, I don't know what they'll do with the mics on the field. I'm sure they won't have them. They gotta do something because then you're gonna be hearing everything, which is it's just gonna be crazy.
They'll put it like a 7-second delay or something because they have to. Because
they have to. I mean,
there's gonna be F-bombs flying left and right.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it's just gonna be like.
I mean, they found that out during the XFL. During the XFL, there was some guys dropping those F-bombs.
Yeah. What's up, Alejandro? Junior, how are you? Big Dog, saludos. How are you guys holding up during the quarantine? Just tuning in now. And great to be here and enjoying the content as always. Thank you so much. We're doing good, man.
Willis says he doesn't care about the fans, just bring the games back.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, Willis, I'm in the same boat, man. I'm in the same boat.
Like XFL.
It is. Yeah. I just, man, especially I can't even imagine without football season. Because even like when we had the strike back in '87,
talk about
we had
bad luck for XFL though.
Yeah, man, because they really were
bad luck. They weren't doing that bad.
They weren't doing bad. They were doing much better than the AAF the previous year.
Yeah,
they were doing much better.
And then boom, a pandemic hits, and that's it. No more XFL.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Talk about some bad luck.
Captain Tristan, what do you think about taking away the non-conference games? I'm sure that's probably a contingency, Captain Trips, that I think the conferences are probably have talked about. Because if they do have to cancel weeks, maybe set up something where the conferences don't play any non-conference games and just play the conference ones. But we'll see.
That's interesting.
Ian says, do I think the schools will open up back for next school year? Ian, I think they'll try. I'll say this. I think what's going to happen until we get a vaccine is we're going to play whack-a-mole. We're going to play whack-a-mole. And I think that's going to happen all over the world, not just all over the country. Every time somebody has a hot spot, boom, shut it down. Okay, once they got things, more or less taking under control, okay, start opening it back up. Oh, wait, hot spot over here. Boom, shut it down. I think that's what they're going to do until we get a vaccine. Because I don't see, because even the therapeutics that are working, the medications that they have that seem to be working aren't exactly a surefire cure either. Because even like the it's gotten so much publicity, hydroxychloroquine,
yeah,
Z-Pack and zinc mix. They said that it's effective, but you need to take it early. If you wait too long, it does not a savior a lot of times.
Right.
So that's the thing is I don't, from what I've heard and what I've read on the therapeutics, I don't see any sign of a potential cure. So the only other thing that remains is a vaccine.
Right.
And I think until there is a vaccine, I think we're going to see some weird things happening in the world. And like I said, we're going to have to play, sports with empty stadiums. We're going to have to get used to starts and stops, because now when they're talking about certain places opening up in May 1st, you could have a place opens up in 3 weeks, shuts it back down.
Yeah.
You could have a place that maybe opens up and is okay. And then an hour away, some other place opens up and they have to shut down. So I don't see this.
And that's another thing. Look, UCF Knight just made a good point. Like, what if they open up and then a player comes down with it?
There you go.
And what? Then you're going to see like what you saw with the NBA. You saw, rumors. Oh, wait, what? Gobert has it? Oh, man, they suspended the game. Oh, snap, they suspended the season. What?
Yeah. And look, what was it? 4 players with the Nets, including KD, had it.
Yeah.
And Lord knows there's probably several other players that probably had it.
Marcus Smart had it for the Celtics.
There you go. And how many of them had it that might have been asymptomatic and never took a test for it?
No, I'm sure every single NBA team took a test. Every single player on every single NBA team took a test.
It might have been, but at the same time, that was just the beginning. Could you imagine if they hadn't shut down the season?
Oh, right, yeah.
Then you would have had the entire league infected.
No, and what's crazy is that you had the issue with some of the false positives and the false negatives, and I mean it's just a whole cluster, So I mean it's going to be interesting to see nonetheless. My expectations, I need more data, man.
But
I gotta see how long this peak is gonna last. I gotta see, when the cases start dropping, the death toll starts dropping a little bit. I just need more data, man, to be able to formulate, an opinion on whether I think the season's gonna start on time. Because as right now, I think so. But who's not to say that? I mean, this peak doesn't last a little longer,
right?
Or that, like, yes, we finally start bending the curve, but it's not like this. It's more like this.
Right.
Instead of like a
Right.
gradual downturn.
Mark Dudley with a donation. Thank you so much again, Mark.
It's hilarious, in my opinion, about car dealerships. They've been price gouging new vehicles for a long time. They should bring them. They should bring them back to reality.
Yeah, you're not kidding, man. You're not kidding. You're gonna see. It's gonna definitely be a buyer's market.
Yeah.
We
got Mr. Roberts in the house.
What do you say, Shonda?
How's it going, Shonda? I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's doing well.
George had a birthday too.
Nice to see you in here.
A few days ago.
Yes, happy belated birthday to Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Thank
you guys for joining us. Man, we'll see. I you know what I do think though? I think the biggest lesson for us all that we could take from this, and hopefully that'll help us deal with it in the near future until there is a vaccine, is that I think what we're having the toughest time dealing with it in this country is that we're starting to realize how fragile life is, and not just on an individual basis, but even on a mass basis. And that's what I think people are having a tough time with mentally, is to understand that no matter how powerful we are, something that you can't even see that's a virus could shut everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that hopefully we take that lesson to live life to the fullest. And I don't mean in the Cristal champagne and going crazy thing. I mean in that time that you spend with your family, that time that you spend in your house of worship, those things you start appreciating more, because you realize how quickly it can be taken away. And that's what I would hope would be the lesson going forward. And Gallo Negro with a donation. Thank you, Gallo Negro. He says, just showing love.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much, brother.
The Heat, man. I see his Heat avatar. That's another thing. The Miami Heat, man. Playoff basketball. I'm just dying to see something. I've already watched. Whatchamacallit, Ozarks.
I've seen a bunch of shows. Watched all of Deadwood. I have been dying.
You're just slacking, and you need to watch Ozark.
I don't like watching them until the series is done.
Really? That makes no sense, man.
No, once the series is done, then that way I can binge watch it from the beginning to the end.
What happened with Game of Thrones?
There you go. You go. And then we had to wait for years and stuff.
You have to wait. You gotta build up the suspense, man.
Yeah, there's too much to choose from for me to have to deal with that.
Oh man, that's why. Well, you gotta see.
What do you say, Demetrius? JD.
What's another one? Oh, Tiger King. Tiger King sucked. I don't know what the hype is about Tiger King. Tiger King was whack. I didn't even finish it. That's how whack it was.
You didn't like it?
Nah. The Outsider was all right, Gallo Negro. I watched it a little bit. Ozark is done. What you mean it's done?
I heard it. Oh, Shonda, thank you so much, Shonda.
Shonda, thank you so much for your donation.
Appreciate
that. Thank you so much. $10 dono from Mrs. Roberts.
And prayers. By the way, Shonda, I haven't heard anything in terms of how's everybody in the Bahamas doing. Is it something that, because God forbid,
I haven't heard much about the islands at all.
Yeah, I haven't either.
This virus.
I haven't either. How are they doing with the virus, Shonda? Hopefully well. I mean, because all the things that they went through last year, the least thing that they need is having to deal with a health crisis now on top of that.
Yeah, Captain Trips. It was terrible.
Which one was terrible?
Tiger King.
They're on total lockdown in the islands. Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully they all stay well and you'll be in our prayers.
Oh, Money Heist is ridiculous. Big Dog, you want to see another good show?
Is it a show or is that a movie?
No, it's a show.
Okay.
But it's in Spanish. It's Casa de Papel. It's in Spanish.
Okay.
It's called Money Heist. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Okay.
So that's another show.
All right.
I don't know how much you like watching shows in Spanish or whatnot, but you could put what I like doing. Even though I understand Spanish, I understand everything. Sometimes they
subtitles.
Yeah, because they don't have they don't talk Spanish like like Cubans. It's like that.
Right.
So sometimes it's hard to pick up everything that they're saying. So I put the subtitles in English, but I mean,
my mother used to like those old Mexican movies, and man, even though I can read, write, and speak Spanish, those old like Mexican movies, they talk Spanish completely different. And I could even make it to me. It was like well, you know what happens to me also with English. You hear people from England, and it depends what part. Some of them have like that Cockney accent and stuff, and I can't always make out what they're saying.
Yeah, no, it's tough, but it's a really, really good show.
I've heard good things about Westworld too. That's true. Deadwood, I had wanted to see it forever, and I had it, so I went ahead and binge watched it, and then watched the Deadwood movie.
You won't
it was very good.
You won't like Westworld.
No,
you don't like those kind of sci-fi.
I'm not a big sci-fi guy,
and it's very sci-fi.
This is the most embarrassing thing for me to admit. In my entire life, I've never watched Star Trek, never watched Star Wars. Only saw one Star Wars movie, and that was to take Junior when he was little to the movies that I watched. What was it we saw? Which one of the Star Wars?
One of the episodes.
Yeah, but what was it? It
was episode 1.
Which was the 4th movie, right? Yeah, episode 1 was the 4th movie. What was that called?
I don't know, man. It's the only one I saw from beginning to end.
Yeah, so I've never been a
Charlene Abonita from Philippines is joining.
I never saw. Oh man, thank you so much, Charlene. Thank you for joining us, and Brian also want to say hello. I never watched the X-Files, Mark, but you know what's funny is when I was a kid, I loved the Twilight Zone. I loved the Twilight Zone. That was like one of my favorite shows back when I was a kid. So I don't know why I like that, but I never got into like all the sci-fi stuff.
Phantom Menace. Was that the one?
Phantom Menace. I think that was the one. Yep, that was the one.
Yeah.
And I even E.T., I still to this day haven't seen the entire movie E.T. And that was like crazy the day. And I remember I took like a girlfriend to watch it. And the lines were like around the block, and I was like, nah, hell with that. And I never did see it. So a lot of those movies and stuff, the sci-fi, I did used to like Perry Mason quite a bit. Yes, we are going to have a call-in show. Willis, you want to call in?
Big Will, let me know if you want to call in. I'll go ahead and open it up for you.
Absolutely. Let us know, Big Will. No, if you want, we can open it up already, and you guys want to talk yeah, that's true. That's true. Betu Perry, yeah, all those movies that came out in like the late 80s. Like I did see Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was a sci-fi movie, and that was good. But I was never a sci-fi guy.
I like sci-fi. Interstellar is probably one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time.
Did I end up watching that with you?
I think you did.
Remind me of the plot again.
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
And that the Earth is running out of food and whatnot. So then they find somebody put a wormhole, and then they have to find another planet to inhabit another planet because they're gonna run out of food. They're gonna starve.
I did see that one with you.
To me, I think that is the best movie about like space. Yeah, not just sci-fi. That's one of my favorite movies ever. I've seen it so many times.
Jared said Caddyshack. There you go. That's kind. Oh, look at that. Brett has a good idea. Worst case, we could move college football to the spring. Huh. That's something, Brett, that it takes some thought, but I wonder. But I think they're going to just try to play no fans. Yeah.
Long time, man.
But in his case, what he's saying is in the spring, hopefully we'll have a vaccine by then.
No.
I will say this. I will caution everyone that I have come to believe that for us to truly get back to normal, what our life was 2 months ago, it's not going to happen until there's a vaccine. Period. I do not think, even when they open it back up, I think there'll be places that open back up and are fine. And I think there'll be other places that open back up and have to shut it back down again. I think there's going to be a second wave, but hopefully we can keep it under control.
Nah, George, Florida's whack.
What's that?
George says, I'm not going to lie. Florida's 100% better than Miami.
100% better than Miami what?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. No, Brett, listen, that's a possibility. I mean, it makes more sense than just listen. People need to understand this. You already saw University of Cincinnati here nearby canceled, disbanded men's soccer. If you take away one season of revenue from college football, I'll tell you right now, colleges around the country will be canceling athletic programs like it's a virus. They'll be because for a lot of programs, football pays the freight for everything.
Yeah,
football and basketball pays the freight for baseball, for field hockey, for swimming. Football pays the freight for all that. Football and basketball pays the freight for all of that.
Yeah.
People talk about canceling or postponing a season. Okay, now you have to remember, in the cases of the professional leagues, those owners can deal with that. They'll take a hit.
Liberty City, boy, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in here in a while.
What do you say, Liberty City? And I see Dennis too, and I haven't seen Dennis. What do you say, Dennis? Wuhan going through another wave of coronavirus. Yeah, I mean it is going through another wave. And Dennis, unfortunately, I think we're gonna be in the same boat whenever in the fall. But the point I was making is I think the professional leagues can withstand. The NBA owners are going to be fine. The Major League Baseball owners are going to be fine. College sports is different. It's different. Like Together Soul says, March Madness was canceled. You've already canceled March Madness, which is a big chunk of money that the schools lost. If you mess with the football season, even if you have to play with no fans, how much revenue is that going to be lost? That's going to have a huge negative impact to university athletic programs.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, think about that. So even the wealthier programs, even, I don't care how big they are, football revenue carries a lot of the freight. That's going, she says, Elijah's ready to get to the UM. I can't wait.
I need Ronan to go away. Yeah.
What's that?
No, she says, I need Rona to go away. Like Corona.
Oh, yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah,
you're not kidding. I'm sure, man. That's another thing. Those young men that are ready to start their college lives and college, futures and stuff, and everything's been put on hold. Man, it's going to be, listen, even the impact of possibly playing the football season without fans is going to have a huge impact to colleges. Like I said, the professional leagues, they'll live with it. The professional leagues will be able to sustain and live with it. And worst comes to worst, some cuts here and there. But colleges, man, you take away an entire season of revenue from from ticket sales and put that in addition to what they already lost with basketball, you'll see big time programs even cutting entire programs. Like I said, they'll cut, boys soccer, they'll cut wrestling, they'll cut. It's going to get serious. It's going to get serious. We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Tripp says Alabama have to take those the new Dodge Chargers away from their players. They'll start their own car lot, used car lot. But no, did you want to go ahead and open it up?
Yeah, I got Jeb 2020. He says, "Hey, how do I call in?" Just let me know, man. Let me know if you guys I'll open up the lines. I haven't really seen. I think I don't know if Big Will wants to go ahead and call in, but besides that, I haven't really seen anybody. I've never seen you in here either. Jeb 2020.
You want to open them up? Go ahead and open them up and put the phone.
And Gallo
he's calling too.
All right, so let me go ahead and open it up.
And we'll talk about whatever you guys want. Guys, listen, I know that we haven't talked that much about Canes football, but obviously we want to go ahead and do that. So we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
All right, hold on. It's it's a phone number, Jeb. I'll go ahead and put it on the screen now. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, J Love T says there are schools who rely on the fans heavily that will get crushed. For example, Nebraska, Texas, Penn State. Yeah, shoot, Ohio State here in Ohio. I mean, that's 103,000 fans that pack that stadium 6 times a year. Think about it. That's a lot of money besides all the money they'll lose in concessions, all the money, everything, even parking. I mean, you name it. It's going to be a hit. It's going to be a hit to a lot of athletic programs. So let's see what ends up happening. But I don't see, until there's a vaccine, I don't see a full stadium watching any sport, period. I don't see that's going to happen. So I think you're looking for the next 12 months to 18 months, how long it takes to get a vaccine. I think you're going to see empty stadiums. I think, yes, you're going to see the sports, but that's what's going to be. Oh, a good question. Ian says, who is the starting QB versus Bama in 2021? Ian, man, that's a damn
Van Dyke.
You're going with Van Dyke?
We're going TVD, baby. All right, let me go ahead and open up
Alejandro Johnson with the donation. Thank you, Alejandro. He says, won't get either one of you rich, but thanks for the program. Always support those that make their own shows and business. Stay safe. Thank you, Alejandro, for the donation, and you stay safe as well. Ian, I'm going to give you an answer. Oh man, you're gonna force me to make a pick this early, huh? Peyton Matocha. I think Peyton Matocha will be the starter on 2021. How's that?
Could be, man.
That'll be. I have to pick one now.
Go ahead and open it up. Anybody that wants to call in is more than welcome to do so.
Cynthia says, I think she say TVD. Stunner Boy is saying TVD too.
TVD, baby.
Yeah, listen, if you did odds on it, obviously the favorites would be Nkosi or TVD, I think.
Yeah.
What's up, Tad? I just really like.
All right, we got a call.
All right, go ahead. I do, Ian. I like Matocha quite a bit.
What's going on? You're on with Junior and the Big Dog. Who we got?
Hey, this is actually Jeb in the chat.
How's it going, Jeb?
Yeah, no, I'm new to the program. Doing good, man. I was actually gonna ask just a bit of speculation. I'm over here, in the southern Texas area, and I don't know if you've heard, but there's talks of opening up the beaches here, and I guess since the number of cases have gone down, there's talks of opening some things back up. Now, I mean, personally, I don't see that really happening, just because how quickly things can change when it comes to this virus. So my main question is, if things do open up, how do you think that will affect college football games? Considering, maybe the NFL could host something, but as far as college football, I'm really curious on what their whole plan is, or if they're going to even have any games at all. if this virus really does stretch out, in all honesty, I don't really see there being maybe a season. I'm honestly a little concerned about it because personally, I don't know about you guys, but I'm always NFL is fine, but I'm a bit more of I'm getting more into college football as of late.
I got you. No, Jeff, and thank you, by the way. Thank you for watching the show, and thank you for calling in. And hopefully, we'll make you part of the Big Dog Junior and the Big Dog family.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, no, you made really good points. I think they're going to try to open it up, Jeb. The problem is what I don't see is fans being at a stadium. I don't think we're going to see that until there's a vaccine. I think if we're going to play, you're going to see empty stadiums, and to your point, professional leagues can withstand that because so much of their income is coming from TV revenue. Now, colleges get a ton of money from TV also, but the fact that their budgets are so that football and basketball pays for their entire athletic program, those colleges can't afford to lose that revenue from ticket sales. So
yeah,
I think they're going to play, but they're going to have to play without fans in the stadium, and the impact that it's going to have on college athletic programs is going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those colleges, too, those these games really do bring in a lot of revenue, and whether that's jersey sales or in as you said, in the televised games themselves. It's really interesting to see what they're gonna do, but I'm a little short on time here. But thanks for having me on.
No
Thank
problem,
you, Jeb, and God bless, and God bless, and I hope your family stays safe. I know Houston had a real hot spot with the virus, but other areas of Texas seem to be doing a lot better. So hopefully you guys will have some semblance of normalcy here sometime soon.
Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you, and God bless your family as well, sir.
All right,
Thank you, Jeb. God bless.
Was great. Here's my thing with this whole opening things back up. What's going to happen if we go ahead and open things back up, and a player comes down with the virus?
Yeah. No, I can promise you that is going to happen.
Right, but that's my point. So
I can guarantee you that's going to happen.
That's so then what do we do? What do we do when it comes to that though?
Right. Number one is
cancel?
Well, here's what I would say. We need to retrain our thought process, because we have to get it into our heads that we're not going to go down to zero in terms of infected people in a very long time. So we're going to have to open it up before it's done running its course. And it could always pop back up. Dr. Fauci has talked about it hitting in the fall again, right during the beginning of football season. Okay. So we're going to have to get the idea through our head that we're going to have a new normal until we have a vaccine. And that new normal, like you said, is going to be some places will open up and then have to close back down again, 3 weeks later.
Well, how do you have a college football season when you have some states and some cities that are going to be on lockdown while others are going to be just fine?
Absolutely.
How do you navigate that? Like it's all
not even that.
Like it's all or nothing.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Professional leagues can do that without a problem. Okay. What are you going to do? So you're going to have college players not being able to go to class, having to do their classes remotely, but then playing football and traveling?
Right. You can't do that.
I mean, there's a lot of logistical things. And that's the problem, I think, with Dr. Fauci. And again, it wasn't a knock on him, is because he's a doctor. That's his area of expertise. If you start looking at things of opening up, okay, it's not just opening up. Okay, we're going to open up with no fans in the stands. Okay, how much travel is going to be involved for the players? Like you said, what happens to players? Are they going to be leaving a place that's under control and then having to travel to a place that's a hotspot?
Yeah.
Or does that place that's now under control start hosting teams? You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
it's there's a lot of logistical things, especially if we have a flare up in the fall. Because hopefully, when things die down now, starting in May, things hopefully it looks like things are starting to that we're flattening the curve. This next week is going to be terrible, but after that, I think there'll be some good news. Okay, we flatten the curve. Cases start becoming minimal. We start opening things back up. Let's say this thing is seasonal. So we have a summer that's relatively peaceful and in terms of the disease.
Mm-hmm.
Then football season starts.
It comes right back.
You're going to have Fauci already said he believes this is seasonal and he believes we're going to have a fall outbreak. Okay, so what are we going to do in the fall? Start closing things down again. And it's not just sports, schools. That's when kids go back to school.
Yeah.
So now you're going to start closing back down schools again. And how are you going to do that and still have sports leagues? Because these teams have to travel. That's the other thing. It's not because Dr. Fauci said you have to put the players all up in a hotel and keep them isolated from the community and then play the games in front of empty stadiums. Okay. What games is that exactly? Are the Rams and the Chargers going to play 16 times? Because so that way they don't have to travel out of LA.
Right.
The Buccaneers, the Dolphins, and the Jaguars are going to have a 3-team season.
Yeah.
Because
hey, by the way, lines are open again, guys.
Yeah.
If you guys want to call in.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Brett. And the thing is when you think about that in a perfect world where you have control, he says, because Brett was saying play games in non-hotspot areas, but these teams travel to play other teams.
Right.
So what's going to happen? You might not want to allow a team coming from a hotspot right now. Let's just say.
All right, we got a call. We got a call, big dog. Sorry to interrupt you, man.
But let me just finish this one thought. I'll give you an example right now. And no, keep the call though. Keep the call.
All right.
If let's say we're right in the middle of football.
First of all, hold on. Before you finish your point, who we got on the line?
El Gallo Negro, what's up, man?
Hey, Gallo Negro.
Hey, Gallo Negro.
What's going on, brother?
This is my point. Let's pretend that right now, and Gallo Negro, I want to hear this. I want to hear what your thought is. Let's pretend right now we're in the middle of football season. Okay? With the conditions that everything is around the country. And we're scheduled to play Syracuse. The Canes are scheduled to play Syracuse, which I know we're not scheduled in the season for that. And we'll say the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to play the Jets. We're at home. Are you going to allow the Jets to travel to South Florida with as much of a hotspot as there is in New York?
Nah. Chill.
Seriously.
Wow.
No, and guy, I'm not going to listen. There is no easy answer.
There's so many factors with the coronavirus thing. If you look at it from the most positive perspective, and that is that the country, we as humans are going to develop some kind of antibody through our own, immune system.
Absolutely.
Maybe not to beat coronavirus, but the asymptomatic people, how it says us as a herding,
herd immunity.
population.
Right.
Yeah, that's the most positive thing that I'm looking at through the coronavirus. Is it still like how you're portraying it, big dog? Nah. I mean, the professional teams, yeah, they can do what they want to do. They get paid.
Right.
Speak on another man's money. I know I wouldn't visit any game. I'd rather watch it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, man, you know what? Speaking of that, isn't this so interesting? Because in this precarious time for the NCAA, what a time to bring up image and likeness for the NCAA in the football season that's coming up. Because if my child's on the Hurricanes, you'll have to pay them to perform
because I know you need my child to perform because it's going to create revenue for not just the school, but for other athletic programs. So all this ties into, man, such a big money grab. And it was like you were saying earlier, the basketball and the football, it pays for athletics. So this pandemic, it's interesting. I don't even look at it as something that's terrible. Yes, it's bad that people are losing their life, but I think this is actually something we needed to go through. This is like a test run of not doomsday, but just something that could happen. And we should be prepared. Look how unprepared we are, mask-wise, ventilators. You got states bidding for, medical supplies. I mean, it's just so. As far as sports, if I have states and local officials, like the guy was saying in South Texas, they're opening beaches. But earlier in March, I heard from kids that were at spring break who were saying we don't care about it, and then they left Florida and they spread it throughout the country. I know this is I don't know how true that is, but you know how they do their graphs or whatever. I mean, just things like that people are hearing from the news. Whether, like I was saying the last time I called, so much information out there, you don't know what to believe. So
the thing is, Brett,
I'm hoping glass half full, guys. Really, I'm just hoping glass half full, man. This springtime football that you're talking about, please don't say that.
I know. No, listen, and Junior.
This is terrible.
Junior can tell you this at Gallo Negro. I'm usually a very optimistic person. I always see the glasses half full.
Wait, hold on. Wasn't it Gallo Negro was the one that suggested that we had to reverse our roles? Wasn't it you that suggested it last week?
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's why I called in, because I wanted to apologize to you. Because there's no need for you to reverse your role, because Big Dog, you pulled my coat or something. I've been watching, as a matter of fact, last week I watched 91, 92, and I think it was the 93 FSU Miami game.
Okay.
And I also watched the 86 one or the 87, whichever one it was. Big Dog was saying that the reason that you speak the way you do is because you haven't experienced the way we experienced the Canes.
Right.
And there's so much truth to that. Because when I went back and started watching them games, and you would hear the commentators, you would hear Keith Jackson just say something like, yeah, Miami they're 55-2 when leaving after the fourth quarter. It's like over a 7-year period, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like over 7 years, they only lost 2 games when leading after the fourth quarter. And, you hear stuff like, whenever you see Miami and that smoke, they come to play. Or the Hurricanes are holding up 4 fingers. And I'm just like, man, we have so much tradition that it was so compacted into that microwave dynasty of that decade that you didn't really get a sense of that. You didn't really get to see or sense those players that we grew up on.
Yeah.
Maybe 2001. So I was trying to get you to be something, I guess, that
I can't.
Not really your place to be. Yeah.
Right.
I gotta apologize for that one, man.
No.
Listen, man, I envy it because like I've watched a lot of those same games that you're talking about, and all I remember like thinking to myself was, man, I wish I would have lived this. I wish I would have seen this live. I wish, it's just so many great years, so many great players, so many historic things that I missed out on, man. But I mean, it is what it is, man. I can't do nothing about it.
Well, and here's the thing, and in fairness to you and Gallo Negro and people of your guys' generation, that when you guys haven't lived through that. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example just to bring it into perspective. On average, major college programs usually play around six home games a year. That's basically how many home games the major college programs play. We had a 58 game home winning streak. So that tells you we went 10 years without losing a home game. So for somebody of my generation that sees them running up the stairs of the stadium as punishment for losing at home to Duke last year, not last year, the year before, the season before, to somebody like of my generation, that for us to lose to Duke at home when we went 58 consecutive games without a loss at home and playing against FSU every year, but every other year at home, Florida, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Notre Dame, every single major college program would cancel series against us because of how we dominated them. And to go from that to a team that loses at home to Duke, loses to FIU, loses to Louisiana Tech, gets shut up by Louisiana Tech. That's why when we see stuff like that and we say, guys, that's not who we are. And yes, I understand that, 2001's a long time ago. I get it. But the reality is,
right, big dog, but you can't tell the newer generation that's not who we are.
Correct. Listen, and that's what I'm saying. That's my point, though, is I understand what you guys go through. I get it because you guys didn't live through that period.
Right.
I went through a 20-year period of,
like, I don't get the whining on social media.
Right.
It's like they seem like the people are personally attacking the players instead of attacking the players' play.
Mm-hmm.
But grow up in social media, so I can't, I can try to, empathize with what they are going through, but it's different. I mean, just imagine if Jimmy Johnson had social media, he wouldn't have made it as a coach. He lost. I mean, he had 2 NFL coordinators on his first staff.
Yep.
And they were buying. I mean, we've seen the documentary. He had social media during that time. He would have got eaten alive. Every move he had would have been questioned. Butch Davis also. That's why this is the deal. At any point in time, the Hurricanes can return it to a dynasty just because of location. Period.
Mm-hmm.
The better talent, just like USC and just like the Texas Longhorns, at any point in time, they can be a perennial powerhouse because of location and brand. I don't know if it's been coaching, but I would say this. I know people don't like to hear the Hurricanes say this, especially fans, but boy, for the past few years, I would say in and out, the past 15 years, we've been getting a bad rep. The thing with Randy Shannon, they hated him as a coach. The fans did, but he wasn't just a coach. He was a police officer. I'm sure he knew something about what Shapiro was doing. I mean, how do you tell 17 and 18-year-old kids not to eat steak at the strip club? And Mark Rick. I mean, not Rick, but what's his name?
Golden.
Oh, excuse me, Golden. He wasn't the right man for the job. Let's just accept that as a loss. He was terrible as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through that. Mark Rick, I mean, hey, he jazzed us up a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Turnover chain, Manny Diaz back. They should have used Malik Rozier less of a runner later in the season, but they didn't have anything to substitute. And this is another thing about the Canes. We're loaded the first 22 across the board with any team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when Walton gets hurt, and then Chris Herndon pulls a hamstring, or Njoku, or Amon Richards, or what was the guy that hurt his neck, the cornerback?
Malik Young.
Malik Young.
I forget his name.
Malik Young.
Malik Young.
Yeah.
So thank you. It's just things like that, like key players. And when you look at that, the 17 team, Colin Johnson, Redwine, Jackson, I mean, McIntosh, some guys were older. They were veterans.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have a too deep to hang with a team like Clemson. I think we there now. I think our DNs, State is nastiest. We got the nastiest D line in the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what recruited this last year. I think
put RN's comment up there.
They're ready. Now our back end, it's time for them to show up, and we should take it easy on the linebackers this year. We got more athleticism, but look for them to make more mistakes.
True. They're young.
And they're going to be playing off instinct and talent and not, the scheme of the defense per se. So I'm gonna take it easy on the linebacking course because they're so young. Offense, we got D King, I think Lashley, and I heard y'all talk about the quarterback. Let me mention this real quick. I think Nkosi, if he develops his accuracy between 5 to 15 yards, I think he'll be the starter next year. I think that's the only thing he developed. Everybody knows he has the best deep ball. It's his short accuracy, his reading of defenses, and his checkdowns. He's just not there yet. So,
and listen, I agree with that. I agree with. I think if he does develop that, I think that he does put himself in that position to start in the mix for sure. The problem is, go ahead, Bidon.
No, what I was saying in terms of Nkosi, I mean, I'm rooting for him. The problem is, it's been my history of watching football has been when a quarterback has mechanical issues, it's almost impossible to fix. Can you make improvements the more you know the offense? The more you know the offense, the more you know, the more sure you are with everything, the better you start reading things, the game slows down, your percentage number will get better. But the thing is, at Gallo Negro is, man, when you have accuracy mechanical issues, they stay with you forever. Because what ends up happening is, even though you work on those things, you're working on those things in situations where you're not getting hit. Once you go into real games where the bullets start flying, your mechanics and your muscle memory kicks in, and you go back to those same mechanical mistakes and issues. So I've never seen in my entire life, I've never seen a inaccurate quarterback become an accurate quarterback. Like I said, I've seen improvements because, the more you play, the game slows down. You're able to read things quicker. You're able to be more decisive. You're able to, but once those things occur that you have these mechanical issues, it's almost impossible to fix. Now, if there's anybody that I would hope would prove me wrong, it's Nkosi, because he seems like a young man that really, really learned and matured of what it takes to be a QB. So he has all these other wonderful qualities that I wish he could have injected some of that maturity in Jaren. But those mechanical issues, man, they are what they are, and that
was a topic I just was going to hop on real quick, and I'm going to let somebody else get a call in. But the thing what you just said about Jaren, man, I was really pulling for him this year. I think we got a really decent team, and I couldn't figure out what wasn't clicking. And I think at the end of the year, once, everybody got fired or, the changes were made, there wasn't any leadership in the locker room, it seems like.
Right.
It seems like people that were there, they were just happy to be there. It was kind of like how they said Malik was at the end of the season with the Pitt game, that he had nobody pushing him. So, like
days ago,
he let his mechanic black. He got complacent.
Right.
Yep.
And it's one of the things that I hate what happened with Kaepernick. I understand what he was protesting for, but when he made that display in Atlanta, and all those coaches were behind him to have those people out there. I love football, dude. And that's one thing I know. When I'm out there to perform, I don't care what the situation is. I'm the best quarterback out there. I'm the best running back out there. I'm the best receiver out. I'm the best DB. You know what I mean? So I feel like we don't have that right now. until they got a grad transfer named De'Aaron King. I really think that kid's a leader. And I
Yeah.
think that he is a spark we need. So I'm going to let somebody get on here. Hey, guys, do me a favor. When y'all go to bed tonight, will y'all please pray that I will be in a car driving through Ohio so I can see Big Dog on my way to the MSU game this year, man. I already had my spot picked out. You know what I mean? I had the tailgate parking lot spot picked out. I got the route ready. Man, this dude, this is
Yeah, it's brutal, man.
I will be praying for that, man. I'd love to see you and hang out with you a little bit on your way there.
All right, man. I hope somebody else call in, man. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, man.
Great phone calls we've had so far. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know, I do think De'Aaron King, what he's going to bring to the locker room is something that we needed so badly. Oh, I'm glad. Let me get that comment out of our ends. That was a great comment.
Which one? Did I put the right one up?
Yeah, that's the one.
That was fucking.
That's the one. That's the thing. When I look at our roster and I see the same things that Gallo Negro sees, I see that we have places that not only can we match up, we can dominate any college team in the country. Okay, like you said, defensive ends, I'll take ours against anybody's roster.
Yeah.
Offensive line. How many times did you guys hear me when everybody was focused on the quarterbacks? When everybody was focused on is it Jaron? Is it Nkosi? And what did I say? In the entire history of football, you're not going to have a great offense with a bad offensive line. You can now could have, should have, and would have Dan Enos game plan around the offensive line more. It would have helped us for sure. Okay. Can you find ways to hide? I think Rhett Lashley, with the up-tempo spread that he's going to play, is going to hide any offensive line deficiencies as much as you possibly can. Yes, you can do those things. But for any team in the history of football, you cannot have a dominant offense with a terrible offensive line. And for a good chunk of the season last year, our offensive line was terrible. In fact, you can make a case pretty much throughout it was terrible. And you saw it. I mean, you saw it not just pass blocking.
I think towards
because people only focus on the sacks. Okay, only focus on the sacks. We averaged 2 yards a carry against Central Michigan. That's run blocking. That isn't pass blocking. That isn't holding the ball.
I agree, but can we admit that Dan Enos didn't help that offensive line?
Absolutely, he didn't at all, and he deserved to be fired. And I'm glad he was fired. Yeah. Made my day, made my week, made my month when he was relieved of his duties. So I agree with you there, but let's not forget the fact is that yes, Rhett Lashley is going to be a huge upgrade, and I love the spread. I love it. I love the hire. All of it. It's going to, first off, our offensive line was naturally going to be better because everybody's back a year older, a year stronger, a year better. Okay, we'll see. Gary Justice seems to be an upgrade in terms of, because let's face it, Butch Barry was not suited for the college game. He was suited to still be in the NFL. Not the same thing developing high school to college as it is college to the pros, or through the pros to improvement. Okay. Wasn't suited. It was ill-suited, and we saw very little development of the offensive line throughout the season.
I'm holding myself back on the Garen Justice because I really like the Butch Barry hire.
Oh, I did too. No, at the time I thought it was a good hire.
Yeah.
But at the time, once the season started progressing, you saw that I went, I'm not seeing players develop. I'm seeing guys making the same mistake multiple times. Because as a coach, yes, your job is to get the player ready. But your job is, especially with young players, is to get them to not repeat mistakes. And I saw mistake after mistake.
Yeah.
Of offensive linemen picking up the wrong guy, of getting beat off the snap, of just how can I put this, a lack of maximum focus.
Mhm.
You know, and then we go back to that, like I said about that, you know, because people, when they talk about the offensive line, it was like, oh, we gave up 10 sacks against Florida. I'm not just talking about the horrible pass blocking. Okay, for a good chunk of the season against subpar teams, we weren't running the ball well.
Oh, we weren't. We weren't.
Okay.
But dude, what I'm trying to say is that the play calling was horrible.
No, it was. But here's the thing:
We weren't. What was the
Hold
average
on.
you said again? 2 point
you
what?
have against what?
Central Michigan.
It was like I think it was like 2.3 yards a carry, something like that.
Right, but
I don't have the stat in front of me.
that didn't stop Dan Enos from running play action though.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But and long developing play action plays on 3rd down and 12 from near the goal line.
You know, so
Yeah, no. The play calling was terrible. But you're a Power 5 team. You're playing Central Michigan. Your offensive line should be able to blow them off the ball. Should be able to blow FIU off the ball. Look at when Power 5 teams play against Group of 5 teams. Where is usually the biggest disparity? Yards per carry.
Right.
Where the Power 5 team will average 7 yards a carry or 6.5 yards a carry, and the Group of 5 team will average 2.5. It isn't, because the Group of 5 team could have listen, look at the NFL. The NFL is full of a lot of quarterbacks that didn't play Power 5 football. You know, that were guys that, you know, Joe Flacco played in Delaware, Carson Wentz, North Dakota State. I mean, I could find you 15 quarterbacks in the NFL that didn't play Power 5 football.
Right.
Okay, Jimmy G didn't play Power 5 football. Okay, so there's you could find a good quarterback and that will play in the Power 5 and it'll move the ball, but they won't have the running game against a Power 5 school.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
We couldn't push them off the ball. And that's not inexperience only. That's a lack of talent.
Yeah.
And was our point through a lot of the season last year was in the entire history of football, you've never seen a great offense with a bad offensive line. Those things do not happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
And hopefully this year we're going to see a better offensive line, and we're also in a system that's going to give the offensive line, put them in the best position to succeed, because we're going to go up tempo, and we're going to make that defense 6 plays into the drive be at 70%, be at 80%.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
But go ahead.
Yeah, double reverse on the 4-yard line, orange and green blood. Those trick plays of him, God, they pissed me off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, nothing, man. We're coming up on an hour and a half, 8:30, man. So if you want to take some rapid fire questions, Big Will, if you're still here in the chat, man, I did want to get your call in because I know that you were trying to call in. So if you are, if you do still want to call in, please let me know.
I agree, Hurricane Billy, and that's the thing is everybody focuses on the skill position talent, and especially, man, those that play football, you guys know it, man. When you got an offensive line that's clicking and can push people off the ball, it almost becomes too easy to move that ball. Mm-hmm. But when that offensive line isn't doing it, isn't winning in the trenches, isn't changing the line of scrimmage, football becomes really, really hard to do.
I'm with Cynthia here, though.
What's that?
She says, you repeat talking about last year isn't helping the new generation, so let's get past this and focus on new recruits. Uplifting.
Cynthia, you're 100% right.
I'm done.
You're 100% right, Cynthia. And
it's so painful to talk about last year.
Yeah, it is. But Cynthia's point is 100% correct.
The guy on He's the one that brought it up.
Cynthia, but you got to do me a favor. You got to make sure you stay with us all the time. And anytime I do that, please.
Oh, okay, I got Big Will. All right. I just saw your missed call, Big Will. Big Will, call in now, and then that's it. We'll wrap it up with Big Will, man.
Big Will.
He's been trying to get in here.
But you're right, Cynthia, and like I said, please always remind me of that. If you see me slipping in and doing that again,
telling you to call in, and I had it closed.
Ian says he thinks Avante's going to be our best safety in years. What do you think? Ian, I like Avante, but man, we're loaded there. We're loaded there because I love me Boba Bolden. I love me Gervin Hall. I think even though he had a rough, inconsistent year last year, I think Gervin's going to be much better this year. And I think Bubba's going to be a monster.
I had to, Gallonero. I had to, man.
What's that?
Big Will, go ahead and call in. I'm waiting for your phone call. I feel bad. Like I told him to call in, and I had the line closed off. And I see we got a bunch of voicemails that we got to get to.
That's a good point, Anthony. Good point. And not only was Burrow a backup for 2 years before he started, people forget the previous season he was a 58% passer. Now he was an accurate passer, but they didn't have much of an offense. Their offense was like a Dan Enos unimaginative offense. So he was accurate. He just was in the wrong system. But you're right. You're absolutely right. And De'Ara King has been a stud since the beginning. And I think he's going to be a stud for us this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Yeah, Romeo's gone. RN. Romeo is no longer with the Canes. He is on to hopefully he succeeds at the next level. Guillermo, you're 100% right, man. There's some good offensive linemen down here too, but we've always recruited offensive linemen from up north. Always. Shoot, we even have off the top of my head, we even had like 2 or 3 from Canada, including Brett Romberg. Well, so you're absolutely right.
With Brett Romberg when it comes to offensive linemen, you have to lead with Brett Romberg when it comes to offensive linemen from Canada.
Yeah, but we had a couple. We had, I think Bibla was from Canada also. And I'm trying to remember, we have a third from Canada. We had several offensive linemen from Canada that were really good players. Shoot, I remember Rod Holder was from Chicago. My God, I could go on and on and on. I remember offensive line of I think our first national championship team, almost all the position players were from Miami, and then I think our entire offensive line was not. And then we had Bernie, who's from Boardman, Ohio. Who said he was worried about Blake?
I'm gonna see if Big Will answers me because he just called and I just missed the call. I'm terrible. I am terrible.
Says I'm worried about Blake Baker. I'm worried about Blake Baker too.
Hello, who we got?
Hey, what's up, JR? This big dog, this Big Will.
What do you say, Big Will?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
I'm glad you called in.
How you doing, Mr. Big Dog?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm glad I was able to get on the show. My goodness, I had to call like 500 times, but I'm on here. I'm glad of that. I'm happy.
Hey, Big Will, that's my fault.
Big Will, we got to blame that on Junior.
We good. Hey, Mr. Big Dog, I'm with you, sir. About the crisis that's going on right now. We're in a pandemic situation, but I'm with you. If they decide to start the football season, it will be empty stadiums. The players will have to quarantine. And in order for college football to earn their revenue, they just want to have to earn it through their TV contracts. Okay. By this pandemic situation that is going on right now, a lot of people are trying to be safe. They're trying to keep themselves healthy because of this pandemic situation. And, I agree with you also. College football is the main revenue that pays for all the sports in the universities. Yep. No one's lining up for the swim team. No one's lining up for the volleyball team.
That's right.
These organizations depends on basketball and football contributions in order to keep the university going on the floor. Mm-hmm. All that scholarship money that pays for the academics of the athletes. Mm-hmm. And these kids cannot continue their college education if football or basketball is not continuing. Like you just stated, they just canceled the Final Four, the biggest revenue of college basketball.
Yeah.
A lot of kids that is graduating this year, they're not going to have a Final Four moment.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a chance to compete in the tournament. There will be no championship in the year 2019, 2020.
That's right.
Because of this pandemic, it really eliminated a lot that is going on in society right now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you gentlemen is basically talking about it and also dealing with the sport situation because, see, I understand, and I said it earlier, I don't care if they have fans, I don't care if they do have fans. I want to see college football, but I'm more concerned with the health of the players. I'm more concerned with the health of the coaches. I will put life over sports anytime, any day.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely, Big Will. Absolutely, sir.
So I understand, what's going on and the ramifications that will happen if college football is not playing at the beginning of this season. But I also understand that life is more important.
Absolutely.
A life is everlasting. If you lose your life, you're no longer here. You're no longer in existence.
That's right.
So I agree with a lot of the points that y'all brought. I like what you said, JR. I like what you said. Even if they start the season and one of the players gets sick, they're gonna have to shut the season out anyway.
Exactly.
Exactly, Big Will.
Because of the contagiousness of this pandemic, everyone is nervous. They have the no touching rule. When they get in the trenches, they got to block. They got to block in the trenches. The linebackers got to cover.
Yep.
The corners got to jam the receivers. That's touching. You coming in contact with people. I understand they got gloves. I understand they have, they have face guards over their faces and things like that. But still, you putting these young men in a situation that they might be containing the virus that's going on right now.
Big Will, I heard a frightening stat today. They said that they estimate that of the people infected in the country, 10 to 20% are healthcare workers. That tells you how contagious this thing is.
Yeah. And then, I also, Mr. Victor, did a little research, and I noticed that even those that are affected, their chances of getting the full-blown virus is less than 20 to 15%. That means you still can be a carrier of the virus, but you don't have to feel none of the symptoms. You won't have to feel none of the parameters.
Exactly.
That's how contagious this thing is.
Yep.
It's an airborne sickness. We all got to breathe. We all got to inhale. If you don't inhale, you're going to die anyway. So I'm happy that I was able to come on your show. I've been dying to come on your show, but every time there's something and there's something that I'm able to come. I'm happy to come on to talk with you, JR. Talk to you, Mr. Big Dog. I'm a big fan of your podcast, along with Wholesome and many others. I really get a lot of intake, and I try to put my perspective. Mr. Big Dog, I'm more of your generation. I'm 46 years old. Okay. I was living during the time when the Hurricanes was winning national championships in the 80s and the early 90s.
Yep.
I remember those championship years. So I had to also temper my anger towards my university that I love dearly, because generation of today don't know nothing about the champion year of those days. They don't know about the great champions that we have. They know the history. They do know the Hall of Famers like Ed Reed. They know about Sean Taylor, things like that. They know about players that came from this university, but they never experienced it with their own eyes. They just heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
lived it.
I look at this generation of players. They have the potential, but I really was upset with Manny Diaz. I have to get this off my chest because this is clarity for me. I was really upset with Manny Diaz because the decisions that he made last year, I felt that he made a lot of errors that could have prevented us to go 6 and 7. But one thing I love about Holsom, he brought something back to my remembrance. That was just his first year as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just getting his feet wet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had to rear back my frustration of a frustrating year, and I had to realize that was just his first time being a head coach. And your first time, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make errors. You're going to have blunders. You're going to have situations that you're not going to be in control of because that is your first time. Just like when you ride the bike for the first time, there's not a guarantee that you're not going to fall. You're going to fall every time. If you don't fall, how are you going to get back up?
100%.
That's the same thing with this pandemic that we're going through right now. I agree with you also again this week, though. I don't think we won't have a season until we have some type of antibiotic or some type of cure or some type of
vaccine
remedy to deal with this.
Yep.
And I agree because this thing is so contagious that a person would be 6 feet from you, and it's a possibility you could still catch it.
Absolutely, Big Will.
So I understand about the social distancing, but I'm like this: you could be in the room with a person 6 feet from you, you still breathe the same air that they're breathing.
Yeah.
So the disease, the pandemic situation is still at large.
Yeah. No, and I'll tell you something, Big Will. I saw a thing on the news the other day that of a study that they did, and what it showed was someone sneezing, right? And they were inside, like an office environment, and they could do it through with ultraviolet light. The sneeze that someone let out was still lingering in the air as much as an hour later. Now, the good news is if you open a window, then that the breeze and stuff that, the cross flow then makes it fall and gets rid of it. But if you're in a closed environment, it stays right there. So somebody could have sneezed or coughed. You walk by half an hour later, you're still breathing what they left behind. That's how contagious this thing is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying, that if they start the season, I agree with you 100%. It's going to have to be in an environment that there is not enclosement. They have to be in an environment that is out in the open. I'd rather for them if they're gonna do the games. I'd rather for them to do the pep talks and all that stuff on the sideline. When they be out in the air, they don't have to be in a locker room. I understand you don't want the other team to find out your schemes and your parameters and things, but that's when you can have key notes and little parameters that should say, to speak over people's minds, to let them know what type of scheme and parameters that you set in. But, like I'm saying, is that if you put them all in an enclosed environment, and even one person that has the virus, it's a guarantee that everybody will be contagious to.
There you go. That's a fact, Big Will.
I'm in 100% agreeing with you about, if you're going to do the games, do it, in a closed, do it in an open environment, let no fans, let them just get the money from the TV contract.
Yeah.
They're still paying millions of dollars. So I don't, as long as they can get the revenue from that should cover them for that year.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I agree. Hey, Big Will, man. I'm sorry that it took you so long to get on the line, but we appreciate you calling in, my brother.
No problem, JR. I just appreciate that you was able to get me. You and Mr. Big Dog, I appreciate you. I try to catch y'all live show every time I can, but sometimes, by me being, I'm an official in my church, so a lot of times I'm not able to get y'all on the spot because I have to take care of church business.
I
But
understand.
That's more important anyway.
yeah, when I'm able to get you, I'm willing to stay, get on the chat, get my little cliches, my reviews about Hurricane football because that's what I love. I'm a Cane till I die. I bleed orange and green, and that's never going to change.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Big Will. Thank you so much. And thank you always for your support, Big Will. I always love chatting with you, even when it's on the comments and stuff like that. And you're a very positive person, and I'm glad you're part of the big of our family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all keep up the good work. I love to see, a father and son tag teaming. Love. JR growing up a Cane fan. You being Mr. Big Dog being a Cane fan for years, for many, many years. Reminiscing.
Yes, sir.
The 87, the 89, the 91 championship.
Yes, sir.
Jerome Brown. I remember Jerome Brown. I remember.
Oh my God.
I remember Kevin. I remember Craig Erickson. I remember all those great players.
Yeah.
And even though we have great players now, I just believe if they can just get some confidence.
Yeah. And good coaching.
I was never able to let y'all know Ed Reed is going to be a very big confidence booster for these young men because he's going to reel them back into what the youth really stood for.
Yep. There you go. Perfectly said.
And if these young men will listen and take in the wisdom that he has, that he don't got from Ray Lewis, that he don't got from Michael Irvin, and he don't got from many others that came and told him about the greatness of this university. If they get that wisdom that he will put on them, Miami is going to go straight up. We might not be a dynasty of the 90s, but we will be a contender to the national championship.
There you go, Big Will.
Right now, nobody is not going to dog us out. We're not going to be nobody's, walking mate. If them young men can get that hunger of those old Canes and take that and motivate that and put that in their life, I guarantee you, next year we will be a focal point in the national championship game.
There you go, Big Will.
I know it for a fact.
I'm loving it.
We got the dogs.
Big Will. Yeah, we do got some dogs coming in. That's for sure. Yep. From your mouth to God's ears, Big Will.
You're getting me hype over here, Big Will.
Thank you so much for your call.
I told you I bleed orange and green, bro.
Yes, sir.
I bleed this thing. And
yes,
when
sir.
I Hurricane football, I get hyped.
I got you.
I get motivated.
Yes, sir.
To let people know that you don't know who you dealing with. You dealing with a monster. The problem is this monster haven't woke up yet.
There you go. There you go.
But don't worry. They're really gonna wake that monster up, and that monster is gonna be hungry.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Alabama better watch out.
Hey.
All these so-called top dogs, they gotta watch out.
That's right. Hey, Big Will. We'll show them that nobody ever dominates like the U dominates. We'll show them.
That's right, sir. Yes, sir. They just haven't woken us up yet, but sooner or later, somebody's gonna poke the bear.
Absolutely.
They're gonna make a big mistake, and boy, watch the domination.
Hey, yes, Big Will. Thanks for calling in, my brother.
All right, y'all gentlemen, be good and y'all be safe. Love both of y'all. Do y'all thing.
Right back at you,
we
man.
love
Have
you,
a good
Big
night.
Will. Thank you so much for calling. Oh, that's a great phone call. I love talking to Big Will. He's about as much as a positive person as you're ever gonna talk to. Betu Perry, the donation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
$5
Betu Perry.
donation. He said,
You're
Austin
always
says, you guys just keep doing you. Thank you so much, Betu Perry.
thank you,
Hey,
Betu Perry. He always supports
shout
us.
out to Jay Blaze. I saw Jay Blaze
Yeah.
was in the
Yeah.
chat, man. So big shout out to him.
61 of his co-workers have tested positive, and something like 250
200 and something are in quarantine. Yeah, he's on the front lines, man. He's seen it.
Orange and Green Blood's wife is a nurse, and guys, please, in your prayers. And I don't like pushing my beliefs on anybody, but I'm a big believer in God. I'm a big believer in Christ and a big believer in prayer. Please keep the healthcare workers in your prayers. These are people that are leaving their homes every day, not knowing if they could pick up something they could even bring home to their families, and yet they still do it, and yet they still go there. And like Jay Blaze, like Orange and Green Blood's wife, like all these people that are doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers and firefighters and police officers, please keep them in your prayers, because what they're doing is on a daily basis. They're not just endangering themselves, they're even endangering their families to take care of others.
Yeah.
And that is something, guys, that it takes a special human being to do. And people like Jay and like the other ones that we mentioned, like Orange and Green Blood's wife, these are people that they know that going in, they know the risk, and yet they still do it. They still do it to take care of people that they don't even know.
Absolutely.
Okay, that takes a special human being. So God bless all of those healthcare workers, all of the first responders.
Yeah, and everybody else, man. You guys, be safe, man.
Please.
Thank you for those that called in. Some great phone calls, some great conversation with you guys in the chat, man. If anybody is new here, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime me and the Big Dog do upload a video. We go live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Those of you that are here and already subscribed, man, thank you so much for joining us. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. Share, and if you're part of the rewatch squad, just leave your comments in the comment section. And
I promise I will be caught up this week. That's my promise to you.
All right, you better keep that promise.
That's it. You know, I keep my promises.
Big Dog is usually the one that is handling most of the comments and whatnot.
Yeah, but you know, I keep I keep my promises.
There you go, from his mouth. So if you guys want to talk about anything else, man, any comments you guys may have that we did not cover, we did not get to, or you just want to chop it up in the comment section, go ahead and do so and leave your comments down below if you're watching this again, man. Once again, thank you so much, everybody. Please stay safe, man. Stay clean. Wash your hands. And yeah.
I just want to say, Betu Perry says he's a deputy sheriff, and he says he lost his sergeant to the coronavirus. And obviously pray for his family. And unfortunately, Betu Perry, there's hundreds of people that have the same, of first responders that have those same types of stories with the coronavirus. And we're going to keep you in our prayers and keep your sergeant's family in our prayers. And Captain Trips says the next show he wants us to get into the draft some more. That's a great idea, Captain Trips. We're going to do that. We're going to get into the draft some more and go over some things. Love you guys. I'll tell you what, we got the best family. I'll tell you what, people get so caught up in how many subs that they have or how many views their videos get. What we get caught up in and what Junior and I talk about is never that. It's how cool our Junior and the Big Dog family is.
Yeah.
And how cool the relationships that we've built with you guys.
Even guys that are not even you fans. Captain
Trip,
the Gator, all the way. So, I mean.
Exactly. But that Junior and the Big Dog family, man, I'll tell you what, this is a fact. I have a hard time sleeping on Wednesday nights when we do the show, and it's because I'm so energized after doing the show, from getting to chat with you guys and feeling that love and stuff coming back from you, and man, it just leaves me on a high. I'm just smiling, and and it's awesome.
If you have a
It's
hard
awesome.
if you're having a hard time sleeping on Wednesday nights, I could send you your grandchildren for a night.
Hey, you
And
know what?
Maybe I'll be able to get some sleep.
Hey, but tell the truth to the chat. Tell the truth.
I know you will love that. You'll be
No, I not only would I love that, but if Grandpa sings to him, how quickly would they be asleep?
Of course, any little baby, if or whatever, if
but
they think that Santa
Grandpa-
Claus is singing to them, they're gonna fall asleep, man.
That's what it is.
Kidding me?
See, ask him. Even when they were just born, I just started singing to them.
Nah, it is true, man.
Minutes they're asleep.
It
I
is
put you to sleep a lot like that. You slept on my chest more than you did in the crib.
true. Yeah.
Now, thank you guys so much, man. Thank you all for joining us, and like Junior had said, and we look forward to seeing everybody next week. And what else you got, Junior?
I think that's it, man. It'll be kind of cool to. I don't know to do. What do you think about a little draft party?
Yeah, let's definitely do a draft party for sure.
Like a little.
Yeah,
Because maybe go live during the draft. I don't know.
I'd like to do that. Hey, would you guys like to do that? Like us to do like a live draft show?
I just gotta make sure that I can't watch it on Hulu because Hulu is a little behind, and then that would just mess me all up. It's so hard doing it with two people because you're ahead some almost always you're ahead of me or I'm
Yeah.
ahead of you. It's crazy.
But that's all right. I mean, I can play with that though.
It don't matter.
We can figure that out.
Hey, Wednesday we're gonna be
Yes,
talking
Savage
next
Kane
Wednesday.
says-
Go ahead.
What? No, we'll do the next Wednesday show too, and then we'll do a draft show. He says Savage Kane said he was down for the draft show.
We'll see what's up. We'll see. Maybe. No promises. We'll see. Hey, thank you guys once again for joining us, man.
Yeah.
As always, Junior the Big Dog out. It's all about.
It's always all about this you. Thank you guys. You guys have a great night.
Stay clean, stay safe.
Yes, please.